Hello everyone, welcome back to Good Game Insights. This is Infrared's reviewing Overboard. Now, this is my first time doing a review on a mobile game, which also just happens to be available on PC. Just so you know, the mobile version of this game is way cheaper, like 3 times cheaper, last I checked at least. Overboard is a narrative-driven game where you essentially have to make a series of choices to get away with murder. Yup, your objective in this game is to play as the wife and get away with murdering your husband. Doesn't that sound very fun? Now, with that being said, this is actually the reason why I was drawn to this game. At the time of reviewing this, I'm at least 3 to probably around 5 hours of gameplay into this, and I've yet to actually get away with murdering my dear old husband. As with all other narrative-driven games, I would have actually expected a more linear path, but it actually has the complete opposite. I hope that after a few more hours, I'll be able to say that I got away with murder. In this game, of course. Anyways, with that being said, I really do believe this game did great in the sense that it was challenging and immersive at the same time. Although the game does keep track of previous choices, you still have to keep track of what you've selected so you don't double down on it, and also make sure you are feeding wrong information to the NPCs while trying to get away with the crime. Your crime, to be specific. The game has so much depth and probably has everything I could have asked for in a game of this style. Now, I mentioned this in a previous video, but I'll mention it again here. The purpose of my channel isn't to rate games from a scale of 1 to 10 or say whether it is good or if it's bad. I just play games and review it based on my opinions, whether the game did something slightly off in terms of design, story, audio, etc., and what I could suggest to improve the game. I truly do not believe in bad games, but just poor game design choices. Well, that's enough of that, and with that being said, is there something that I thought could be changed in Overboard? And my answer would definitely be yes. Now, this suggestion, of course, is more of a support for players, and is something that could take away from the whole draw of the game, which is kind of getting away with murder. You wouldn't expect that to be very easy. So, after my first attempt, I noticed a checklist of things that I needed to accomplish in order to get away with my mission, which is to get away with murder. This was great, but I thought it still wasn't enough to help me accomplish my goal. So, because the game isn't meant to be easy, maybe after a certain number of attempts, you get more and more hints. Also, possibly the option to receive hints through each scene so you know you're heading in the right direction. Right now, this isn't really an option in the game, but you do get the option to restart the scene, but just once per scene. And the issue with that is that at the end of every scene, you're kind of unsure if you're one step closer to getting away with your crime, or if you're guaranteed to spend time behind bars at the end of the game. Again, this isn't a necessary change to this game solely because it does take away from the charm of getting away with this yourself. Plus, as I mentioned earlier, getting away with murder shouldn't be easy. Now, as far as audio, the game does have some voice lines, and if I'm remembering correctly, it's just one. It's when your husband is screaming as he falls off of the ship. So, there's really nothing more to say for audio in this game. Art, now the art is great. It does match the style of the game, but also it's nothing really special. It almost feels like it's meant to be a mobile game. And what do I mean by that? It definitely does have its stylistic art to it, but it also does feel like it could be like a gardenscape type of game. Now, I'm not hating on the art at all, and of course art is subjective, but I do think the art is good, just not special. Okay, so I'm sure it was already somewhat implied by the way that I'm talking about this game, but I would highly recommend this game. I played this on the iPhone and it did cost me $5.99, which is, again, I told you it was 3 times cheaper than it is on PC. The cost for PC is $15.99 on Steam. And regardless, definitely still think it is worth it for the price because you will be spending a decent amount of time playing this game and trying to accomplish your mission. And just so we're clear, at the time of recording this, I still have not gotten away with murder. Thanks everyone for sticking through my review of the game Overboard. If you played this game and had other opinions, comment them down below. If you disagree with something that I had to say, just let me know, and I'm all ears, really. Maybe you can change my mind. Maybe this is just a bad game and my taste in games just does suck. Anyways, for now, I'll see you all in my next game review.